Hello all, and welcome to Wake Up with Marci. It's time to heal, transform, and be inspired. We are here at Favali's Trattoria in Ramsey, New Jersey, sharing a cup of coffee with my next guest, Liris Crosse, a model, actress, motivational speaker, and has just released her first book. She was named one of the 2 plus-size model winners of Project Runway, recently walked in New York Fashion Week, is the face of Maggie Sottero Curve Collection, has graced the top magazines such as Vogue and Essence, and is now trying to encourage women through her new book, Make the World Your Runway. Her motto is, if you can think it, you can do it. Liris, I am so excited having you on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
I mean, this is awesome. So you just released your book, Make the World Your Runway.
Yes.
I am so excited to share about this.
I'm excited that I completed it and got it done. It's definitely been a labor of love, and it's already been touching so many people, just the responses I've been getting back on social media.
Oh my God. I've gone through the book and it's amazing how
Thank you.
inspiring and empowering it is.
Thank you so much.
So I always say that everybody has a story, and you touch on that in your book. So I want to hear your story and how you got to this place.
Well,
I know, we got a lot behind that.
oh my gosh. I'll try to give a condensed version.
Yeah.
I'm originally from Baltimore, Maryland, and I am a preacher's kid. Born and raised down there, and ever since I was a little girl, I really wanted to model. But, you know, sometimes it takes someone seeing it in you that you're like, oh, okay, I could really do this.
Yeah.
And I remember when my father was running for Congress, and he had a photographer come to the house and take pictures of me and the family for his campaign brochure. And then the photographer said, do you mind if I get some pictures of her by herself?
Yeah.
And he took the pictures of me, and I'm in elementary school at this time. And when he comes back, you know, at that time you had to develop the film and all the other stuff.
Yeah.
So he comes back and he says, your daughter is very photogenic. You should really get her into some modeling. And I literally held on to that nugget for years.
The seed was planted.
The seed was planted. And I thank God that he planted that seed then, because that's why now I have this career that spans over a decade in the modeling industry. I moved to, I went to a models convention after, while I was in high school. Went to the first convention, got callbacks from agencies, Elite, Zoli, Michelle Pommier, 17 Magazine.
Wow.
They all wanted me to lose weight.
Oh.
And imagine being a young girl who plays sports every season. Yeah. And thinking like, lose weight where? What are you talking about? But I remember I tried to, after that convention, I went back my senior year. And before I went back to the convention, I went and was trying to do all this crazy starvation diet.
Oh, it's terrible.
Didn't really work for me because I'm a foodie. I love to eat.
Food is important.
It's very important. Very important. I went back, I only got one call back, and that was from an agency that was already in the Maryland area. And I remember I was about to start college, and I was all enrolled, but something in my spirit said, you need to move to New York and try this modeling thing.
Incredible.
And thank God I had parents who allowed me to really, you know, live my dream.
They're supporting
go
you.
After my purpose.
How important that is, yes.
And they said, you know what, we're going to give you a year. And I moved to New York.
This was right after your senior year of high school?
Right after my senior year.
Okay.
Didn't look back
Didn't
since.
look back, okay. Yeah.
And I ended up signing with, my first agency was Wilhelmina Models. I signed with them after the agencies opened back up, because it was the top of the year, like right after New Year's.
Okay.
And I made lots of leeway and pioneering the industry in my own way while I was there. And now I'm with Dorothy Combs Models.
That's wonderful.
And I am out of the UK. And this is where we are now.
I know, and now you're, representing, brands and Project Runway.
Yes.
How exciting.
Oh, I had the time of my life on Project Runway. Literally, it was a dream because a lot of times plus models are not able to be in that space and really get opportunities to show what we can do on the runway. So to be able to not just be in a designer finale like I was on season 14, first black plus size model to rock a designer finale.
You were fierce.
Thank
Yes,
you.
you were.
But to be in the week-to-week competitions with models of all sizes and body shapes on season 16 of Project Runway was amazing. Amazing. Yeah. I got to speak and use my voice to help the designers to also speak for change in our industry. And I mean, I really didn't know how loyal and how big this opportunity was. Like, I knew about the show for years because we've seen Project Runway for years, but to really imagine it, speak it, because I remember I spoke to the casting director after we did the designer finale season 14 with Ashley Nell Tipton, and I said, can you imagine if we had plus size models for the week-to-week designer competitions?
Amazing. Yeah.
And then he calls me back season 16.
Look what you did.
So to literally envision it in my head, speak it, then it happened, and I live it, and then go
manifested
on.
It.
Yes,
absolutely.
Yes, and then to go on and become one of the first plus models to win the model portion of Project Runway. Amazing.
And it spawned your idea to write this book.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. It really spawned it because on the show, there were so many, while the show was airing, there were so many people who were just saying, oh my goodness, Liris, I love your poise. I love your confidence. I love how you strut on the runway. I wish I could bottle up your confidence. Yeah. And of course, we can't put me in a bottle.
Exactly. But we can learn from you.
We can learn from you. I could put my confidence in a book. Yeah. So in this book, Make the World Your Runway, and shout out to Tim Gunn because my foreword is by Tim Gunn.
I know. That is awesome.
I mean, I literally take experiences that I've gone through in my modeling career. I take principles for how I prepare for the runway and expound upon it so everybody can make the world their runway in their everyday life.
So, first of all, how did it make you feel that Tim Gunn wrote for you in your book?
I'm still in shock, for real.
Yeah.
I'm still in shock because I didn't realize the impact that I had on Tim till he sent over his draft of his foreword, and I was just floored. I just sat there like, is he talking about me?
I know, overwhelming. Like it's like
really
so unbelievable. I got to pinch myself.
Yeah, Tim is a fashion icon.
Yes.
He's a fashion icon. So to be able to have some type of impact, for him to see the word plus different, for him to see plus models period different, because he says it in the foreword.
People. Yeah, you obviously really touched him.
Yeah.
When we come back, we are going to hear about Liris Crosse's book and find out how we can find our power and our presence. Welcome back to Wake Up with Marci. All right, so I'm excited. Now we are going to talk about the book.
Yes.
The meat of the book. Break it down. You have it in 6 chapters.
I do.
You know what
6
I love?
chunky chapters.
Chunky chapters. You know what? You've really broken it down where you've simplified it. You can take from it. It's easy to read and relate to. So that's what I really like. So your first chapter, Live Your Purpose.
Yes.
And that's a big thing. Like, I don't know that people really know, what is my purpose? How do you find your purpose?
Well, I believe that your purpose usually is shown in glimpses as you're growing up. For me, I was a little girl who my sister would dress me up, put a fan on me, and next thing you know, I'm moving in front of the camera taking pictures. And, a lot of times it's that little kid who is breaking all their toys up, and you're like, but they're trying to figure out how to put it back together.
Yeah, exactly.
That might be the next engineer.
Right.
It may be the little girl who's always saying, Mommy, can I help you cook? Mm-hmm. Maybe her purpose is to be a cook.
Yeah.
Our purpose is usually shown in all those glimpses. Mm-hmm. But a lot of times we ignore it because of what society tells us to do, what our parents have told us to do. Yep. Oh, you'll never make it doing that. And it's usually the thing that we wouldn't mind doing for free. Mm-hmm. I also call that your passion as well.
Your passion, that's right, what you love.
Yes.
And we'll talk about more about that, right?
Yes.
Reigniting that. So chapter 2, prepare for success.
Yes.
Wow, so success, how can we even do that? To even picture that we're going to be successful in what we love?
Well, planning is your friend.
Yeah.
When we plan something, it allows us to feel confident in what's about to happen. Mm-hmm. So we have to have anticipation and expectation. Mm-hmm. And when we plan, it's like a confidence boost. Mm-hmm. Think about when you have a test.
Yeah.
And you prepare for that test, you're able to confidently walk in and say, oh, I got this. I'm ready for this.
Yeah.
Because you have studied, you prepared. It takes the stress out of it. Mm. So in order to be successful, I say plan. Planning is your friend.
It's so true.
Write out your ideas. Create a vision board. Yeah. Reach out to people who have walked the similar path that you have.
That can help you.
Ask them, how can I better plan to take over this market?
Right.
How can I plan for success?
Yes. Yeah. So chapter 3.
Yes.
Presentation power.
Oh my
I like what you say. You say presentation is your offering to the world. That's beautiful. So how can we best present ourselves and find that power?
Well, I think it's very important that we authentically be ourselves.
Yeah, so true.
Authentically. When we're not trying so hard, like, let's take for instance, Cardi B. Mm-hmm. People are loving Cardi B because she is authentically herself.
Yes.
Yes, she's, kind of, she's got the stylist, the hair, the makeup. She's upgraded her look for her presentation.
Right.
But she's still bringing her best self through.
Yes.
With all the, all the great hair, the makeup, the styling as well. Mm-hmm. And I think that is important because I always say this, God sees the heart, but man sees the outer.
I love that. Yes.
He really does.
Yeah.
So a lot of times we're thinking, oh, it doesn't matter. They should just accept me and see me however I am. Yes, they could, but first impressions are so important.
They are.
So I always say it's best to show up on time and show up looking your best. And not only that, when you look your best,
you feel your best.
You feel your best. And when you feel your best, you put your best foot forward.
Absolutely.
And that's really important in your presentation.
All incredible.
Yes.
Yes. Must.
And even in the book, I have tips regarding style as far as for hair, makeup, certain things that you should have to be essential in your wardrobe. Mm-hmm. It's all in the book.
That's good to hear.
Yes.
Because I got to tell you, like, as a mom, it can be very easy to lose that, to lose the ability to, like, care. I wake up, I work out if I'm lucky, and now I'm running errands, and I never change out of my sweatpants.
See?
Yeah, exactly.
And look, I know that mothers have so much that they have to tend to, but it goes back to, there's this quote by Iyanla Vanzant where you serve from your overflow. So the thing is, if I have a cup of coffee and my saucer, it's overflowed with the extra coffee, I serve from that first. Because if I'm serving from an empty cup, I can't help anyone else. You need to serve from your overflow, which means you have to take care of you first.
Yes.
So that way you can be as strong and as helpful to everyone else.
Yes.
And that means also taking time for yourself, taking better care of yourself, making sure you look good, you
Put on
feel
your
good.
oxygen mask first.
Yes.
Right?
That's what it says on the plane.
Yeah.
Before you give it to the kid, you need to put on your oxygen mask first, so that way you are taking care of you. Because when you take care of you, then you can focus on everybody else that you need to tend to.
We got to get rid of that mom guilt.
It's okay. Yeah. Moms can still look hot and sexy.
Absolutely.
Yes, put you first.
Put you first.
Put you first.
Absolutely. When we come back, we will hear more from Liris Crosse. Hello all, and welcome back to Wake Up with Marci. So we are on to chapter 4.
Yes.
Yes. So master presence and positivity.
Yes.
So you talk about energy and what you bring to the room.
Yes.
I like that a lot.
Thank
you. Yeah, because it is about your energy.
It is. Look how I showed up today.
Yeah, you got to own it, right?
Yes,
You got to bring your best.
Yes.
So how can we find that energy in us, in our best presence?
Well, I think it also goes to the other part of that chapter about positivity. And positivity goes to mindset. So it's how we see ourselves. It's how we see the world. I always look at the cup half full instead of half empty. So when I'm walking into any situation, I'm always trying to think as positively, not only think, believe as positively as possible. And your mindset controls so much of how we show up. It also, people can feel your presence when you feel happy, when you feel good.
Yeah.
And you have to hone in on that.
People gravitate towards that.
They do. Yeah. Think about it. People are attracted to people who are powerful or people who are happy.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I want a piece of that. And that's how we're able to make the world our runway, because you want people to gravitate towards you and want to know more about you and what you're doing.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. So, chapter 5, fuel your passion and persistence. Yes. So, finding your passion, that's hard. We did touch on that. And then also for a lot of us, reigniting that.
Yes.
How can we do that?
Well, I mean, you definitely have to.
I'm putting a lot of pressure on you.
No.
Give it to us.
Well, see, the good thing is you putting the pressure on me, it's fine, because whatever I don't get to touch on, it's in the book.
It's in the book. Absolutely.
Well, I'm going to say this. About 2 years ago, I was going through a really trying time. And I was literally, out of all the years after I left Baltimore, I called my mom and I said, you know what? I don't know. I said, maybe I'm just going to find a regular job and move back to Baltimore. In all the years that I've been modeling, she's never heard me say that.
Wow.
That's how depleted I felt at that time. I was trying my best and just, it seemed like nothing was working.
Yeah.
And I thought, maybe my time is past. Maybe I've been modeling, maybe my modeling career is over. Maybe I need to move on.
Yeah.
Guess what? That was a lie.
Yeah.
I am working more now than I probably was in my 20s. It's crazy.
It is. It's really interesting, and I can talk to that also because I was at a crossroads in my career. I mean, I've done acting and modeling and such, and always been in television. But there was a time that I was going to stop. I was like, you know what? I don't think I'm supposed to be acting. I don't think I'm supposed to be doing this. And something happened the next day, and I started pursuing Coffee with Marci, which was my last show.
See?
So you can't give up.
There, you got it.
Yeah.
You can't give up. You have to keep going. I think there's a quote that says, there's no winners or losers, just people that gave up.
Yes.
And that's the one thing. I haven't given up. I still
and thank God you haven't. Look what you're doing.
I know. Look what's happened in the past 2 years.
Exactly.
Project Runway. I'm working with bridal retailer Maggie Sotero. I'm their spokesperson for their curve line. I mean, all these things wouldn't have happened if I would have quit.
Yeah.
And
it's not to say it's not easy, but we have to have those hard times with the happy times too.
Well, see, this is the good thing.
Yeah.
When you are going through these moments, this is when you really have to reach out to the core people in your circle. And this is why you have to be sure that you have people that you can rely on. People that can boost you up.
And that's what you talk about in chapter 6.
Yes.
Yeah, your relationships.
Your relationships are so important.
So what is it? Chapter 6 here. Stand in your power and build partnerships.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm thankful that I have great people who said, oh, Liris, no, you're not going to give up. Mm-hmm. You're not going to quit now.
Yeah.
You have too much ahead of you. And I'm like, what are you talking about? This client canceled on me. They didn't pick me for this. They didn't pick me for that. Because look, we are human.
Yes.
And as much as we can be positive, sometimes we fall down the rabbit hole. Mm-hmm. But this is why you have to have that great circle that says, no, girl, I got you.
And learn from it, right? Yes. And that's where you really learn, too.
Yes. Yeah. Not only that, a lot of times when you're going through your hardships, that's when you come up with some of your best creative ideas.
Absolutely.
Years ago, when one of my main clients filed for bankruptcy, so they had all this money they owed me from jobs I did. Thank God I created my Life of a Working Model Bootcamp. It's now 5 years strong. And I did that where I started to teach models how to make it in the business. Classes, so that way they could get quality information from industry professionals. If that client had not filed for bankruptcy, I probably wouldn't have stepped out of my fear and stepped into my faith to really make my Life of a Working Model Bootcamp happen. Because my back was against the wall, I got creative and used the tools that were already inside me to then make another stream of income for myself.
That's incredible. And I just want to say, that's wonderful that you've done that, because being a model is not easy.
It's not.
It's not. I don't care what anyone says.
No.
And I want to tell you, it really boosts. It can build you up or bring you down. It is that roller coaster.
I tell people, it is not for the faint at heart.
No.
Because you go through so much rejection. You go through so much of, no, I don't like this. I don't like her nose. I don't like her skin. I don't like her hair.
And removing yourself and knowing it's not you, it's just what they're looking for.
It's just what they're looking for.
And I had a hard time walking out of that room and leaving that.
Yeah.
So what I love that you do at the end of every chapter is you help us put things into action. So can you break that down a little bit for us?
Yes. At the end of every chapter, I have a runway action plan because I believe, why drop these jewels and not have you put it to practice?
Yeah.
There is power in writing. When we write things down, we internalize it and we actually help it to manifest. So I didn't want people to just read the book and not be able to really make the world their runway. So that's why I have the runway action plans at the end of every chapter. So that way it's almost like you're writing out your goals. You're writing out your thoughts. So that way you can really make the world your runway by the time you finish this book.
Well, where can we find this book?
You can find the book on Amazon.com. Just type in Make the World Your Runway or Liris Crosse, and it'll pop right on up. And it's available in paperback as well as Kindle.
Well, I love it. I love it. And I've loved having you on Wake Up and helping to empower and inspire our audience. And I got to tell you, we have a lot that we can take away from this. So thank you again, and good luck with everything.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for tuning in. Liris Crosse is truly inspiring and empowering. You can watch Wake Up with Marci every Saturday at 6 a.m. and check out wakeupwithmarci.com for upcoming episodes. Remember to be kind and be happy. See you next week.